Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Hayden, and today I want to give you an updated look at a Geek's tour of the attic and his room. And I want to let you know that we have a finished attic. One half of it is my room, one half of it is kind of like our second living room. And yeah, let's get to the tour. First thing, when you look outside my door, Clark W. Griswold Christmas cutout with my RGB lights around it, or some Christmas lights around it. He's like 6 feet tall. I wrapped some Christmas lights around him. He often gets knocked over by our cat, so I try to stand him up as much as possible. Otherwise, he's gonna get knocked over. So the stairs are right here, splitting off the attic, splitting off my room. Now over here is our attic. We have a futon. We have the TV box for my TV still, just laying there. It's really heavy. I need to get it out of here. Half door, which has all of our Christmas stuff in it, sort of like the little part of the attic. Over here is the other side of the attic, which we have our like central AC system is on the other side of the wall. And this is like kind of the main attic side. Whenever I have friends over, I typically stay on this side with them because, 3 couches, my old chair. This is actually where my old chair pretty much resides when it's not in my room. We have a basketball hoop because, every door has to have a basketball hoop. A little worn out. You can see my brother uses it way more than I do. All the black spots on the glass. And sometimes the ball we can't really find, and it's often deflated, which it's actually right there. To the left of the door is our futon. Now, I don't really sit in this that much because it's sort of comfortable, not really. And if you're in person, it's actually really far from the TV. That's why we have 2 other couches and my other chair, because it's closer to the TV and it feels like the right amount of distance to be away from a TV. We also have my aunt's old TV stand. We needed a TV stand, and this thing was ridiculous to carry up here, but it's been up here for about 15 years. My PS5 Slim, Nintendo Switch, cable box, my PS5 wireless charging dock, which I actually got this on eBay for $5. All I had to pay was $5 in shipping. I believe it's typically $25 to $30 new, so this was pretty much a steal of a deal. On top, my 4K Samsung 55-inch TV. This thing is what I used to play God of War with my PS5, and it looked really, really good. Now here's the entry to my room. I closed the door, just so we don't get a lot of echoing sounds. To the left, I have my calendar. I get a new calendar typically every year for Christmas, whether it's cats, snowmobiling, skiing, video game characters, that kind of thing. Underneath is my bookshelf. I just got a record player last year. Typically, it sits on my window seat, but my Christmas tree is on my window seat. So I don't have that much room. I figured that it would actually look decent here, whether I put it on the ground, put the speakers on top, so that way it still fills the entire room. Now, on the bottom, I have my Dungeons & Dragons dice, which I typically don't play anymore. I believe classic Sega Genesis, my original PlayStation 1 that I had with my brother when we were younger. And I typically like to read memoir books, so I got Josh Peck, Richard Rawlings, Tim Cook, Dr. Disrespect. His book was actually really good. And underneath that is John Stamos. He was a big fan. I was a big fan of him in Full House when I was growing up, so I definitely wanted to read his book. On top, I have my collection of Amiibo. All of them still in the same boxes, trying to get that collector's value out of them. I have the tower in the back. Then on top are my speakers. If you remember from my DJI mini video, this is the hard shell case I bought for it. Not sure also where to put that, but it kind of just fit conveniently between my speakers. These are my records. I got a little bit of, Nickelback, Post Malone, 3 Days Grace, Eminem, Linkin Park, Machine Gun Kelly, Green Day again, Green Day, Shinedown, Weezer, who else? Thomas Rhett, Johnny Lee, Fountains of Wayne. So a mix of things that I like. I grew up with Linkin Park and 3 Days Grace more than anything. And then I kind of got into Post Malone. And I also grew up with Eminem, but I don't have his other records. I mainly just have his Curtain Call, which is the best hits that he ever had. And You Bet, Lose Yourself is definitely on that record. That was one of my favorites growing up. Next to it is my toy box. This was my childhood thing. I just have it holding some cables right now. It says my name on the front with some icons. This is just a bunch of random stuff like my work laptop, my work clothes, and just other things. Behind that, right up against it, is my bed. Christmas gifts, that time of year. My 2015 MacBook Air, my glasses, my Switch light, just a random charger. These are new sheets. If you saw my previous video, I really needed new sheets because they were starting to break and get really gross. On top of the wall, I have this poster that I got on Etsy because I really wanted to just decorate the empty space that I have in my room. So I found this poster. It's basically got like all the consoles and the controllers of consoles from when I grew up. Let's see. I had that Game Boy, PS4. The dancing floor was always awesome, but I never had one. I played GameCube at my cousin's house. He had Xbox 360. I had this Game Boy, as I mentioned before. Xbox 360, DS, Wii. Let's see. I had Xbox One and PS4. So I've had some of these. I mean, I was born in 2000, so I didn't get to see everything, but I think it's still really cool to have it hanging on my wall. Next to my bed is my nightstand. This is just holding some random stuff for when I need it. Basically just storage. Behind that is my networking setup, which once I move out, all of this will definitely be different. I have the access point right here connected to a it's like a non-managed switch, so I don't make configurations on it. It just knows what to do automatically. So the PS5 and the TV, as I showed you previously in the attic, are basically in a dead spot. So I have white Ethernet cables for the PS5 and the TV running behind my bed. It goes underneath, out, and into the attic door I have in my room, behind the wall, and then into the TV and the PS5. This was probably the best way I could get it so that there is good service for gaming in my room and in the attic. Yep, just a power strip, random cords because I have Ethernet going to my main desktop PC behind my bureau, and then, mini trash can, and my Christmas tree. I believe this is a 6.5 foot Christmas tree that I got from Michael's about 6 to 7 years ago, and it's still going. I put it up every year. I got Cousin Eddie is pretty much like my star of the tree. Christmas Vacation, their car. Ooh, don't fall. I got this in my previous school district. The woodshop class made ornaments for pretty much anybody who wanted one. I think this is either Link or Zelda. Clark Griswold, the old traditional pull string toy, which is really cool. I got my mitten down here hanging, my Merry Christmas little ornament, and I actually have this on a smart outlet also, so I can just turn it on, turn it off whenever I want to. Same thing with Clark on the outside of my room. If you guys remember, I did have a different gaming desktop on my sit-stand desk where the red Xbox controller is. But this summer, I decided to up the ante and build a whole new PC because I've actually never had liquid cooling. And I also wanted an ATX case. So this is a full ATX case and an NZXT. Not sure of the model, but there's so many specs in this thing that I will list them either in the video or down below. But this liquid cooler is awesome. You can put the GIF images on them or just normal images, patterns and colors for the fans, RGB, G-Skill, 32 gigabytes memory, same thing, patterns, colors, RGB. It is insane. I got a real thick boy GPU. I wish it had RGB. That's the only thing I don't like about this, as my previous RTX 2060 had the light up logo on the side. Starting to not see that much on graphics cards these days, and I'm not a big fan of that. Now I got my sit stand Vivo desk with my Secret Lab chair that I reviewed previously. I have 3 monitors. Typically I would go 4, but I just don't have the room. 3 is actually enough for me. Shure MV7 mic. Focus. Shure MV7 mic. A couple different mice. My Glorious mouse, my Logitech mouse, Xbox controller for Red Dead Redemption and other games that you are able to use controller with. HyperX RGB keyboard, same thing with this, patterns, different colors. My LG 27-inch 1440p 144 Hz monitor in the main, just a Dell 1080p on the left, and a Samsung 1080p on top that I got from eBay, and a Logitech webcam. And I also have a light bar on top. This actually makes a huge difference. If you look at your monitor 24/7, there's a blue light option, which basically makes it so that when you're looking at the monitor, not as much blue light is coming from the monitor, or basically both of them, because it pretty much lights up the whole spot. Then coming to the left of my closet and my window, I have another dual monitor setup. This was my old I think it's a 1080p 144 Hz monitor, just an older Dell 1080p 60 Hz. And then my Asus Zephyrus that I got from Best Buy, 165 Hz display. I believe it is 1440p, and it is just like, I'll put the specs in the video or either in the bottom, but this thing is also pretty crazy. I got it on sale for around $1,000, typically $1,500, and I don't use it that often, and I hate to say that, but I use my desktop more, as you could probably tell why. But believe it or not, on these specs are current, and Call of Duty does not run well. It shows black lines on the display, and I can't even play. It looks like I'm getting 10 FPS in the game. But this is from Best Buy, works no problem. So if you kind of think about it, I primarily use this for Call of Duty and that for other games. But I really don't want it to be like that, so I'm trying to start using it more. And if I get a new MacBook for Christmas, which is possible, this is also going to be kind of like my MacBook setup. So I can just switch out my laptop, put the MacBook there, and basically it's an Apple setup again. Then to the left of the setup is the door that I mentioned before, where it goes into the attic. There's one over there, one over on the left side towards the attic, and then the half door on the other side. So we have a bit of storage and basement storage, but this is very dark and all the insulation's on the other side, so we just don't really use it as storage that much, but yeah. Laundry basket, and then the exit to my bedroom where my guard Clark W. Griswold is standing to say goodbye. Alright guys, that's it for my room tour. I will probably be doing this more of a yearly thing. I kind of like that idea because sometimes things change, sometimes they don't. But I will leave all my social media down below in the description. I'm sorry for the shakiness. I typically, as you probably know, don't do vlog style videos. I would like to in the future, but my life really is not that exciting. But otherwise, we'll think about that in the future. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you again next time.